This is the HAN Network, the leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.
This is your coffee break on the HAN Network.
It is Wednesday, and it is October 7th, 2015, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. Hi, everyone. I'm Rob Adams. Kate Chaplinsky with the day off. Rob Adams off from the weather and sports desk. Oh, wait, AJ Simonowski will be over there coming up a little bit later on. Eric Gendron directing, John Kovach and Josh Fisher both producing this morning. We have your news, we have your weather, we have your sports as we get you through the hump day of this week. And let's get started with the headlines. 2 decorated Darien police officers have been arrested for an incident involving a gun that occurred when both men were off duty. Officers James Martin and Daniel Errett voluntarily surrendered after a 2-month investigation into an incident August 1st outside Martin's residence on Wakemore Road in Darien. Police responding to a report of a gunshot in the area found an unoccupied vehicle owned by Martin was shot several times while parked in the driveway. The State Police Central District Major Crime Squad was notified early that morning of an investigation into a weapon being discharged and that off-duty Darien police officers were involved. Both officers surrendered at State Police Troop 1 in Bethany. Martin, 41, and 38-year-old Errett were both charged with second-degree reckless endangerment, second-degree breach of peace, and unlawful discharge of a firearm. Each posted a $5,000 bond. They are due at State Superior Court in Stamford October 19th. All of the charges are misdemeanors. Martin and Eric are both 10-year veterans of the Darien Police Department. Errett was thanked in a letter to the Darien Times this summer for his efforts in a water rescue. Both officers were placed on administrative leave with pay on the day the incident occurred. Chief Dwayne Lavello said in a statement that Lavello added that a separate internal investigation will begin. Traffic throughout southwestern Connecticut was snarled today after multiple accidents, one of which reportedly ended in a police pursuit. There were traffic problems on I-95 moving southbound through the Norwalk area, as well as Route 25 coming out of Newtown. We'll have more details as we receive them. 2 people were involved in a crash on Route 7 in Norwalk Tuesday afternoon and are fighting for their lives. Fire officials say this accident happened around 3 p.m. between exits 1 and 2 of the connector, also known as U.S. Route 7. State police say the driver of an SUV lost control and rolled several times down an embankment. A Bridgeport man is under arrest after he allegedly pointed a handgun at a security guard after a domestic dispute in the Westfield, Connecticut Post Mall in Milford on Tuesday. Milford police responded to a report of a domestic dispute inside the mall around 5:30 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. It led to the arrest of 20-year-old Donnie Langley of Alpine Street in Bridgeport on charges of first-degree threatening, second-degree unlawful restraint, carrying a pistol without a permit, interfering and resisting arrest, and second-degree breach of peace. Police said Langley shoved and restrained a woman he was arguing with. When approached by mall security, he allegedly displayed a handgun, then pushed the officer and ran out the door. Langley was found on mall property by Milford police and taken into custody and held on a $25,000 bond. A .40 caliber handgun was recovered from a wooded area where Langley was hiding from police, according to Dempsey. The parents of a 14-month-old boy found malnourished and dehydrated, sitting in filthy diapers and crawling with ants were arrested in Stamford. The couple was charged after spending a week in the hospital being treated for problems associated with alcoholism, according to police. The child has been placed in foster care by the Department of Child and Family Services. Stamford police called the incident one of the worst neglect cases its Special Victims Unit has seen. On September 28th, an allegedly drunken Igor Kotsepsi, 41, was found passed out on a sidewalk outside 200 Chopin Avenue, according to Hahn. Kotsepsi's wife, Mariana Volk, 27 years old, called 911 from the couple's Myrtle Avenue apartment about 2 hours later looking for some kind of assistance. When medics got to the apartment, they found the resident in deplorable condition. The apartment was in total disarray with empty liquor bottles and garbage strewn throughout and a foul stench lingering in the air. After medics called police to report what they were seeing, patrol officers found the child in his condition, according to Hearst, Connecticut. The baby was immediately removed from the apartment and taken to Stamford Hospital for treatment. Healthcare providers there gave the small child 3 containers of milk, which he, quote, devoured. Valk, who was arrested Tuesday, spent the next 8 days at Stamford Hospital being treated for her ailments, and Kotsepsky, arrested Monday, remained at the hospital for several days. They are each charged with felony risk of injury to a child. Kotsepsky is being held in lieu of a $25,000 court appearance bond, and Valk was released on a written promise to appear in court. A New Haven man faces larceny charges after Bridgeport police investigated a report of a stolen car in the Hollow neighborhood around 5:15 Sunday afternoon. A police officer in the area spotted the stolen vehicle, a black 2012 Honda Civic, near the corner of Washington Avenue and Catherine Street, and followed the Honda, stopping it at an on-ramp for the Route 25 northbound, Route 8 and 25 northbound. The driver, 19-year-old Alex Bermudez of New Haven, and the front passenger were taken into custody without incident. Bermudez was charged with larceny. Bond was set at $10,000. Ansonia police have arrested a suspect in connection to an August 5th shooting that left a man paralyzed. 23-year-old Kevin Boyd of Bridgeport is charged with first-degree assault, criminal use of a firearm, first-degree reckless endangerment, unlawful discharge of a firearm, and carrying a pistol without a permit. Boyd admitted pulling the trigger, according to an arrest warrant. He's being held on $200,000 bond and is due in court October 14th. Boyd is accused of firing 2 shots into a 21-year-old man outside a convenience store at the intersection of North Main and 4th Streets about 8:30 the evening of August 5th. A .38 caliber bullet entered the victim's torso and struck his spine, according to an arrest warrant. The victim, interviewed August 11th from his hospital bed in Yale New Haven Hospital, said he regretted trying to get into a fight, but that he had lost his temper and that pushing ensued. Then he was shot. Boyd was interviewed at the Ansonia Police Department on September 28th. Boyd allegedly told police that one of the victim's friends was angry at him because Boyd had been talking to the friend's sister. An alleged energy drink shoplifter is facing numerous charges after 3 different police departments said he failed to appear in court after they arrested him. According to reports, Dennis Marquez, 23 years old of Shelton, was observed May 1st placing several cases of Red Bull energy drink into a shopping cart at the Big Y on Route 111, then leaving the store without paying. Surveillance cameras at the store captured the act on film, police said, and Marquez was identified by the photos and his mugshots from previous arrests. He was arrested 2 days later after allegedly pulling a similar heist at the Stop and Shop on Route 111. While in custody, Marquez was charged with failure to appear in court on charges from previous arrests in Derby and by state police. On October 2nd, after again failing to appear in court, Marquez was rearrested and charged with 6th-degree larceny, 3 counts of second-degree failure to appear in court, and 1 count of first-degree failure to appear in court. He is currently being held on a $15,000 bond with a court date of October 9th. Moving now to Darien, a Stamford woman visited Darien Police Headquarters on October 1st to report the violation of a protective order by her estranged husband. The woman is employed at a Renshaw Road residence and told police that 33-year-old Alvaro Espina of Stamford had visited the home earlier in the day. Espina allegedly gave the home's residents a $100 bill to give to the woman, violating an order restricting contact between the two. According to police, she visited the Stamford Police Department first, but was sent to Darien due to the location of the incident. The protective order stemmed from an August 31st domestic violence incident in Stamford. Police said the woman was able to produce 49 text messages sent to her by Espina, which included statements suggesting that he would ignore the protective order in order to see her. Stamford officers arrested Espina at his home, and he was processed for 50 counts of violating a protective order for the text messages and the visit to the woman's workplace. He allegedly told police that he was going to the Darien home and that was a mistake and apologized. His bond was set at $1 million and he was due in court on October 2nd. Just about time to take a look at weather and anything else that A.J. Simonowski may have on his mind, because A.J. always has various and sundry things on his mind. A.J., over to you and good morning.
Thanks, Rob. Good morning to you as well. I'm going to keep it just to the weather now. We don't have enough time to go into what's truly on my mind these days. Today, we have a beautiful day in store. Sunny with a high near 70, northwest wind about 6 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, low of around 51. That wind staying about the same, but calming down overnight. Tomorrow, sunny, high near 66. That same wind coming up again. And tomorrow night, mostly clear again, low around 51. Chance of some showers, rather, if I could speak, on Friday. Showers in the morning, chances of some thunderstorms appearing in the afternoon, clouds, highs near 69. Looking outside right now, sunny and beautiful, currently 66 degrees in Shelton. Rob?
Thanks, AJ. Well, we're going to step out for a break and continue on in your Wednesday edition of your coffee break. We'll come back. Donald Eng will have some history for you. AJ comes back with the sports, and we'll have more headlines as we move you through a Wednesday coffee break right here on the HAN Network.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Alliance. We are an industry leader in coordinating transportation for large events such as corporate road shows, conferences, and special events. Our team of experts understands the dynamics and logistics of high-pressure situations and complex arrangements, all within a rapidly changing environment. Since 1999, we have added charter jets, event management, and personal protection to our range of services. Mention this ad for $25 off your next round-trip reservation. Alliance and you. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. 855-546-6996 or alliancelimo.com.
While the temperatures are cooling down, the fall bite is heating up. Albies, bonita, blackfish, alligator blues, and stripers are following the large schools of bait that are abundant in the Long Island Sound. If you love the New England coast during autumn, this is the time to be on the water. The latest from Shimano, Quantum, Avet, Hoagie, Phase 2 and more are in stock and ready to go at the Dock Shop. And don't mind those fall breezes with jackets, hats, gloves, and fleece from Grundens and Stormer. The Dock Shop will keep you warm and dry. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances, where community comes first, a place where there's more than one kind of interest, where automation will never replace consideration, where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
Welcome back to your coffee break on the HAN Network. We move through Wednesday, middle of the week, and I do not argue this for a moment. I say it every time I get to do this. My favorite part of the show right now, history with Donald Eng. Don?
Well, thanks, Robin. We have a interesting bit of sports history for today. Also on this day, the running man completed an improbable run to a stunning victory. But first, we go all the way back to 1571. The Battle of Lepanto, a naval battle where the Holy League, Spain and Italy, defeated the Turkish fleet, the first ever loss for the Ottomans. The battle was one of several that prevented a Muslim takeover of Western Europe, and the hero of the battle, Italy's greatest naval hero, a man you may have heard of for quite another maritime incident. We are talking, of course, of Admiral Giovanni Andrea Doria. 1916. Georgia Tech defeats Cumberland University 222-0 in the most lopsided college football game in American history. Cumberland was a Presbyterian school in Lebanon, Tennessee. It had actually discontinued its football program before the season, but was not allowed to cancel the game against Georgia Tech. Cumberland's baseball team had defeated Tech 22-0 the year before, amid allegations that it used professional players as ringers. That's possibly the reason why Tech coach John Heisman ran up the score on the Bulldogs. Heisman, also being the Engineers' baseball coach, a Cumberland student manager, put together a team of about 14 fraternity brothers to play as Cumberland's football team.
And no truth to the rumor that we broadcast that game on the HAN network.
You know, actually, the Cumberland student manager that I was referred to, his name was actually George Allen, but not the correct George Allen.
Not the right George Allen.
They needed the other one. 1985, the Italian cruise ship Achille Lauro hijacked by the Palestinian Liberation Front. Holding the passengers and crew hostage, they directed the vessel to sail to Tartus, Syria, where they demanded the release of 50 Palestinians then in Israeli prisons. After being refused permission to dock, they murdered wheelchair-bound Jewish American Leon Klinghoffer, then agreed to abandon the ship in exchange for safe conduct, a condition the Egyptian government, where the ship was hijacked, agreed to. An infuriated Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger ordered fighters from the USS Saratoga to force the Egyptian airliner carrying the hijackers to land in Italy, where the four were arrested. Two of the men served 6-year terms, a third served 20, and the man who actually killed Klinghoffer remains in prison. And finally, 2013, there was this.
I've heard your voices loud and clear. We have tough choices ahead. The first choice that we must make is the one that will determine our success. Shall we rebuild our state together? Or shall we fight amongst ourselves, create even deeper division, and fail the people of California? Well, let me tell you something. The answer is clear. For the people to win, politics as usual must lose.
Of course, The Governator, 2003. Austrian bodybuilder and actor Arnold Schwarzenegger emerges victorious in a recall election to remove California Governor Gray Davis. Schwarzenegger, a Republican, defeated Democrat Cruz Bustamante and fellow Republican Tom McClintock in a race that featured about 14 different candidates, including Arianna Huffington, of all people. That is your look back in history, and I'm Donald Ing.
Yeah, that governor race got a little strange there.
It was weird. Like everyone, there were like exotic dancers, other people, just like anyone. Apparently, once they threw that door open to run for governor, I think Gary Coleman was a candidate.
I think so at one point.
It got strange.
Donald, I wish to thank you for your appearance today on the coffee break.
Well, that takes care of the next thing I was going to say, which was I was very proud of all of us here in the studio for not breaking into our Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions. But A.J. Simonowski, who did run for governor that year, or maybe not.
Yes, I did, Rob. Unfortunately, I was not successful in my endeavor to run for governor that year.
AJ's got sports for us this morning. Once he switches back to being AJ Simonowski, he's got sports with us on this Wednesday morning. AJ, let's throw it over to you.
All right, here I am back behaving sort of, that relative term. I'll start with some volleyball scores. New Canaan beat West Hill 3-1. Stanford over Trinity Catholic also 3-1. Andrea O'Connor with 12 kills and Jayla Wilson with 33 assists there for the Black Knights. Ridgefield over Ward 3-0. Another day for Allie Livingston, 35 assists, 3 kills, and 5 service points. Darien over Norwalk 3-0. Trumbull over Danbury 3-0. Mia Hamford with 9 kills, 6 digs, 2 blocks, 19 service points, and 6 aces. That's a mouthful. And also finally in volleyball, Ludlow over Wilton 3-0. A lot of 3-0 scores in volleyball. I wonder why that is. Sorry, Rob, I didn't have your mic up.
3 out of 5 matches.
That it would explain a lot. See, this is why he's Rob Adams and I. To girls soccer we go. Wilton over Danbury 1-0. Paisley Egan with the goal there for the Warriors. Trumbull over Norwalk 1-0. Ward over Greenwich 3-1. Alexa Montani with 2 goals for the Falcons and Hannah Allen with the third. Ridgefield over New Canaan 4-0. Trinity Catholic over Bridgeport Central 5-1. And West Hill beat Stanford 5-0. Our lone boys soccer game of the day, Ridgefield beat New Canaan 3-2. Noah Sass had 2 goals for the Tigers, and Matteo Avellini, hopefully I got that right, with the 3rd. Vincent Altamura and Thomas Reynolds scored for the Rams. To field hockey we go. Trumbull over West Hill 3-2, and Darien beat Ridgefield 3-0, a game that we were at. A very good game for the first half, but it kind of fell apart for the Tigers in the second. Today's schedule, a lot going on, and I had to work for it because of FCAC.net not cooperating with me. Starting in field hockey, Ward takes on Greenwich, McMahon heads to St. Joe's, and Norwalk takes on Stamford. To girls soccer, McMahon at Danbury, St. Joe's plays West Hill, Ludlow heads to Trinity, Staples takes on Norwalk, Danbury takes on Wilton, and New Canaan takes on Ward. Girls swimming and diving now, Ludlow heads to Darien, New Canaan takes on Norwalk McMahon, and Trumbull plays Ridgefield. Finally, girls volleyball, a lot of games going on tonight. Stamford heads to Danbury, Trumbull at Greenwich, Norwalk takes on New Canaan in Norwalk, Staples at West Hill, Ludlow takes on Bridgeport Central, McMahon heads to Trinity, Darien heads to Ward, St. Joe's heads to Griswold, Connecticut to take on the Wolverines. I admit that I had no idea where Griswold, Connecticut was this morning and had to look it up. It's essentially in Rhode Island. And finally, Ridgefield takes on Wilton. That's your sports report for this morning. I'm AJ. Back over to Rob.
Yeah, basically, Griswold is kind of out toward that Ledyard area, and the area of places that you don't normally get to talk about a lot unless you see them on a sports schedule like I get to.
Truly. As I said, I had never even heard of it before this morning.
Stonington, Norwich, that whole kind of the I-395 side of the state. So.
Right near Foxwoods, a place which I do know.
You got it. There you go. So, and of course, we had boys soccer right here on the HAN network yesterday. We did watch as Greenwich took care of Stamford 3-0. Nick Bartles with another goal. It was an own goal. He was the nearest one by, so he got credit for it. But good job by the Cardinals to get that win, and we want to certainly welcome Raquel Welsh to the broadcasting crew. She did the call with me yesterday right here on the HAN network. We continue with your coffee break now, and we jump back into some news, and thanks to AJ for the sports. We'll get back to him for the weather in just a couple of minutes. For popular eateries such as the Popover Bakery and Cafe in Simsbury, weekend business is there. Wait for it, bread and butter. So when one of the owners at Popover recently got a phone call from someone claiming to be from Eversource, threatening to shut off their power in 2 hours unless they made an immediate payment, she panicked. After calling Eversource to confirm the status of her account, the owner realized she was the target of a scam. This type of scam continues to plague small businesses around the country and usually at the most inopportune times. Callers here in Connecticut claim to be from Eversource and tell them their service is scheduled to be shut off and then pressure them to make an immediate payment by purchasing a prepaid debit card commonly referred to as the Green Dot scam at a certain location. Penny Connor, Senior Vice President and Chief Customer Officer at Eversource, said in a quote, "These scams work by scaring off customers and catching them off guard, hoping they'll ignore their better judgment and make a payment or provide personal information. If any of our customers suspect someone is impersonating an Eversource representative, whether on the phone or in person, even if they show identification, they should contact us immediately or call the local police." Hearst, Connecticut reports that Legionella bacteria were found in recent tests of the cooling tower at Greenwich High School, but students and staff did not face a health risk, according to school and health officials. The bacteria can cause a form of pneumonia known as Legionnaire's disease, but the type that was found at the high school was not one of those strains, according to the town's health department director. Greenwich health officials checked with their state counterparts to make sure that the strain was not dangerous, she said. In response to the deadly outbreak of Legionnaire's disease this past summer in the Bronx, New York, school administrators ordered, as a precaution, the testing of the cooling towers at Greenwich High, the International School at Dundee, and Riverside School, according to Hearst, Connecticut. Those three are the district's only schools with such towers, which are designed to remove heat from a building by spraying water down in the tower. On October 1st, school officials received test results showing Legionella in the high school's cooling tower, which is located in an enclosure next to the school's west parking lot. The Legionella tests at International School at Dundee and Riverside were negative, according to Superintendent of Schools William McCursey. When garbage at 16 Whitney Avenue in New Canaan was being cleaned on September 30th, 2 World War II grenades were found, one German and one of undetermined origin. New Canaan police were called, and one grenade was found to be hollowed out and not dangerous. However, the second grenade's status could not be determined, so Stamford police were called to send their bomb squad in. They took both grenades, and one was found to be live. It was scheduled to be destroyed. Monroe will receive a $500,000 state grant to build a new headquarters for their volunteer emergency medical services, according to Governor Daniel P. Malloy, who announced it on Tuesday. The Small Town Economic Assistance Program, also known as STEAP, the grant will go towards the construction of a new EMS headquarters, which will include adequate garages for emergency vehicles, storage for equipment, training facilities, and sleeping quarters. The current EMS headquarters at Jockey Hollow Firehouse has many structural and operational deficiencies, including inadequate vehicle space, a leaky roof, cracks in the walls, and water damage inside the building on Jockey Hollow Road. Orange will receive a $300,000 grant from the Small Town Economic Assistance Program to help implement its plan to develop 67 acres of town-owned property into an active recreation site in the Pine Tree Drive and Peck Lane intersection. Orange has a long-term plan to create a large recreational facility and further develop the property. The park improvement will offer access to the new lacrosse fields recently built with funds raised by the girls' lacrosse program and the 6 existing soccer fields, as well as some walking trails. Currently, the only access way into the park is overused and cuts through a neighborhood and dirt road. Probably time to take another look at weather before we come back and wrap things up on this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break. Let's go back over to AJ and have a look.
Thanks, Rob. I am happy to report that since you last checked in with me, nothing has changed outside. Still sunny, still nice. Currently 66 degrees here in Shelton. Forecast still the same. It's going to get up to about near 70 with a little bit of a breeze. Tonight, low around 51. Tomorrow, sunny, high near 66 again, and low will get down to 51. Still a chance of showers on Friday and a possible thunderstorm appearing in the afternoon. We are going to be in Danbury for our HAN FCAC football game of the week between the Stanford Black Knights and the Danbury Hatters. Did I get that right, Rob?
You did indeed.
They are the Hatters. I could never keep that straight.
It is Hat City in Danbury.
Hopefully the rain holds off because I do not want to have to get wet again.
Oh, boy.
Rob, back over to you.
I do not blame you. No one's complaining. Had fun last Friday night, and Chris Kalin and I were in much better shape than AJ or John Kovach, but certainly a very rainy night at Staples High School last Friday, so we'll hope this Friday a little bit better, but we do need the rain. All right, AJ, thank you very much. Grant through the State Department of Economic and Community Development's Good to Great program, the Friends of Booth Park were given a $60,000 grant from the same program. Stratford Stage Group has been negotiating terms of the theater renovation since March after the town council chose it over 2 other groups. Stratford Stage Group plans to renovate the theater, add 2 smaller stages, and build an inn on the property. The Friends of Booth Park plan to use their $60,000 grant to pay for renovations to a barn in the park that is falling down. The town is supposed to help fix the exterior, while the Friends group will renovate the inside and make it into a visitor's center. Friends of Booth Park President Ginny Harris says the center will give visitors more information about the park's history and the Booth family before exploring it. Found an unoccupied vehicle owned by Martin was shot several times while parked in the driveway. Of course, for more on that, you can check out the Darien Times. As we get ready to say goodbye on your Wednesday coffee break, we remind you, busy week as always. And of course, Nutmeg Sports coming your way at 2 o'clock with myself and Donald Eng. We'll be back along for the ride for that one. Tomorrow, right back with your coffee break. Then we'll move further into the day for Yankee Fishermen as well as Arts and Leisure. And then as AJ mentioned, Friday, we've got football and a full day at Danbury High School. It'll end with the Danbury Hatters taking on the Stanford Black Knights, and be our first really solid football game of this season. But that'll do it for your coffee break. My thanks to everybody. Wednesday morning. Thanks to John Kovach and Josh Fisher for producing. AJ Simonowski on weather and sports. Eric Jen